Got a little update here for the 411 crowd. This is the progress on the new bracket. I'll turn it around here in a minute. I curved the arms and that stuff to bring it in closer at the top and still get the clearance on the spindle there. Had to kind of punt in the at the end there. I had to borrow this steering arm. I could have sworn I had a couple. I'm not sure where they went. Maybe they weren't mine. Maybe I gave them back. Who knows? Anyway, I really needed this to be able to check clearance right here. That's the steering stop. You know, if the bolts are out and stuff like that, then, you know, they could be cut off anyway. But I got the clearance figured out. It's still going to be pretty snug right here. Might have to do a little shaving right there. I didn't have to putting that one in. With brand new brakes on, brand new pads in, you know, these are the caliper is that way quite a bit. And I've just got this bolt sitting in here. It's supposed to simulate the tie rod end coming up and having a nut on it. Okay, just to give you a reference for clearance. Now, as the pads start wearing out, it starts coming back. Now, I don't think they come back that far, but it is something to keep track of, just in case. Be aware. Basically, when you put the kit together, when you mount these brakes on, you need to drop the tie rod out of here, mount up your brakes and that stuff, and then put the tie rod back up. A bit of a pain. Now, you could take this out as far as it'll go, you know, and push this forward, and basically get it until it unthreads, and then pull the caliper off. Keep wandering here. That's a possibility. The room is so restricted here that, you know, it's kind of like this is what it's going to be. Now, if there's another iteration of this, which I kind of doubt, there's just not that many 411s out there to really bother with doing all this. You know, I could probably suck that up just a little bit more there, you know, clock it just a hair, get a little more clearance here, and that would also help a little bit here with clearance. Now, let me turn it around and look at something else here. Alright, so that's just my markings there for where I needed the clearance on the backside of that. But I got to looking at this. This is a rusty one I use for testing and stuff like that. This is basically the bearing spacer. It's the same thing the Roadsters get. Pushes the entire hub and everything out so that for clearance. Now on the Roadster, it's to clear the back plate. Okay. On this one, that's pushed out to clear the nut back here for the spindle. You know, the tie rod that I was just talking about. That's to get that clearance. All right, here's the 411 hub. And if you look at just how short that registration point is right there for the drum, this is all all rusty stuff. This is stuff that's been sitting around for a year or two now since the last time I did any 411 stuff. So what has to happen is the inside bore gets opened up here so that it can fit over here. All right, this is a G20, Infinity G20. So basically it's a Nissan rotor. I don't remember what other ones it fits or whatever. So this has been opened up from stock to be able to fit over here. Now the problem is when you get it opened up, there is still some chamfer left here from the factory chamfer. Okay. So then the question becomes whether or not it's too tall and it'll register on that or not. I'm going to have to do a little more measuring and play with it. This one doesn't want to slip on. Now, what I've done in the past is I've always said that this needs to get remachined to fit the rotors. I'll have to look at a stock rotor again. I don't remember. If this can get modified one time and fit all of the rotors stock without any change, you know, then it's worth doing that. But if the rotor can get modified and that lip doesn't matter and it can still basically be hub-centric, then the brain's not keeping up here. Then the rotors can be, it could be like the Roadster kit. The rotors can get done and shipped with the kit, and it won't need any modification to the hub. Okay. Now, one thing I was thinking about here is, if this hole, there's plenty of room here to open this hole up wider. Let's say I opened this hole up another, it'd be a 1/2 inch on the diameter. I could take another 1/4 inch off. Okay. Well, then I could make a wheel spacer to go on here, you know, that's however long. I don't want to go more than like 3/16, eighth inch, 3/16, and I would have it, I would machine it so that the ID would register to this, and it'd have a square shoulder, and it'd sit and register on that. Then the OD would match whatever that dimension, you know, I pick here. Okay, so what that does is that creates a hub-centric ring to keep these concentric on the hub. Hub-centric ring, duh, blah, 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 blah. The point of doing that, okay, let's go back to the thing here. This pushes it out 1/8 of an inch for that clearance, okay? If I were to do the hub-centric ring, the 1/8 inch would be on the front of the hub, okay? The 1/8 inch would be here on the front of the hub. So instead of the whole hub being pushed out 1/8 of an inch, the rotor would be spaced out 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so the caliper should sit in the exact same spot. The only change would be is that the hub would be unmodified and sit in 1/8 of an inch. Sit back at its factory. Okay, so the trade-off is I would no longer have to make this, and it should save some of the grief on the hub and rotor problem. That way the hub no longer has to get modified. I need to play with this setup again a little bit, because I had this one modified. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it's not sitting down on there, so I need to do some measuring and figure it out. So I'll have to play with that. I'll modify this rotor again a little bit and see if I maybe can catch that hub-centric lip in there. And if I can do that, then, you know, well, bueno. We'll see what happens. But the other thing I was looking at here, too, was since I'm going to have the new mill, there's a chance if I ever do another iteration of this, another version or whatever, this could be done out of 3/4 inch thick aluminum. Okay, and then I could just mill the shape out in the pocket and all that stuff. So that's definitely a possibility. I just don't know if there's enough of a market to bother with. You know, that's really what it comes down to. For all the hours spent designing and tweaking and everything like that, I still, you know, I'm probably only making about $2 an hour maybe, if that. And so if I decide to do this in aluminum, it'd have to be just for the fun of it, because I'm not going to make any money at it, that's for sure. Anywho, that should be that's about all I got for now.